Welcome to Across the Goal Line. I am your host, Luke Godissart. This is a sports podcast brought to you by diehard fans. Be sure to like Across the Goal Line on Facebook, follow at ATGL16 on both Twitter and Instagram, and then you can subscribe if you haven't already. Please subscribe to Across the Goal Line on YouTube. If you have any questions or concerns as well, shoot across the goal line 2016 at gmail.com an email. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. In this video, I'm going to recap the previous week in the National Football League, try to stay out of the whole national anthem protest thing as much as I can, and then preview the upcoming week 4 of the 2017 NFL season. So with that, I'll go through the games that I picked last week, starting with last Thursday night's thriller in Santa Clara between the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. The Rams defeated the 49ers 41-39 in what ended up being a great game. On paper going into this game, no one probably wanted to watch it, but it ended up being a great game. Like I said, Todd Gurley had 3 touchdowns, 2 in the first quarter, if I'm not mistaken, for the Rams. Had a great game, especially fantasy-wise. I know he helped me out in 2 of my 3 leagues. Then on Sunday, the Patriots defeated the Texans 36-33. Houston came up a Hail Mary short after they gave Tom Brady the ball back with about 2 minutes to go. And New England scored, going up by 3 then. And then, as I said, Houston came up a Hail Mary short to end the game. Jacksonville defeated Baltimore across the pond 44-7. Atlanta defeated Detroit 30-26 after the Lions scored with about 8 seconds to go. But after review, Golden Tate's knee was down at the inch line, furthering the review, and then with that, there's a 10-second runoff if you don't have a timeout. Well, the Lions didn't have any timeouts left, so the 10-second runoff had occurred then, ending the game. So Atlanta defeated the Detroit Lions 30-26. Atlanta and Kansas City, as Kansas City defeated the Los Angeles Chargers 24-10 on the road, are now the only 3-0 teams left in the NFL. We'll have to see if both teams can move forward this weekend and move to 4-0 come Sunday. I know the Falcons play the Bills. I do not know who the Chiefs play. Let me look that up real quick for you guys. I do not have that game on my slate of picks. So let me check into that real quick here. Get online here and look that up. As I said, the Falcons play the Bills, and then the Chiefs. Oh, the Chiefs! I do have the Chiefs game in my slate for some reason. I don't know why I didn't see that, because they play Monday night. That's probably why I didn't see that. I didn't look the whole way down my list of games. The Chiefs play the Washington Redskins at home on Monday Night Football next week. So, all right, yeah. So we'll have to see if both teams can move forward and go to 4-0, and as I said, be the only 4-0 teams in the NFL then, as both teams are the only 3-0 teams left. Minnesota defeated Tampa Bay, surprisingly. Case Keenum threw for about 350 yards and 3 touchdowns against Tampa's defense. They won 34-17. Tennessee defeated Seattle 33-27. Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers finally defeated the Cincinnati Bengals, as now he has defeated every single team in the NFL. They won by a score of 27-24 in overtime. Kansas City, as I said, defeated LA, the Chargers, 24-10 on the road at StubHub Stadium. Washington defeated Oakland on Sunday night in Washington, in Landover, Maryland, actually, by a score of 27-10. The Raiders that game, the Redskins Raiders, was actually my biggest upset of the week, just because going into that game, I think everybody had picked the Oakland Raiders to win that game, but that's why they play the games, folks. And then on Monday night, we did have a great game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals. Dallas won by a score of 28-17. Best game then, as I said, the biggest upset, I already went over that, Washington over Oakland. Best game, I had a couple of them. We'll start with, I guess, the Houston and New England game on Sunday. As I said, it was back and forth. New England was up, and then Houston came back a little bit, but then they gave Tom Brady the ball back with about 2 minutes left. They drove, scored, and then, Houston came up short as Deshaun Watson threw an interception on that Hail Mary to end the game. Atlanta and Detroit then, another good game. Atlanta won 30-26, as I said just a second ago. Detroit, they had their chances to win. I believe it was 3rd and goal whenever Matt Stafford threw that supposedly called touchdown until they reviewed it, I guess you could say. And then it was, reversed. And then Atlanta had won the game due to that 10-second runoff because the Lions didn't have a timeout. So I thought that was a good game. Giants-Eagles ended up being a great game as well. Philly was up, I believe it was 24-7 sometime in the late 3rd, early 4th. And then the Giants ended up coming back, tying the game. But then kicker for the Eagles, Jake Elliott, kicked a 61-yard field goal, longest in the NFL this season, longest in Eagles history to win the game. So the Eagles defeated the Giants 27-24. And then another great game, which started this past week, between which I thought was a good game, the Rams and the 49ers. As I said earlier, going in, no one probably really wanted to watch this game, but it ended up being a great game. That's why you got to watch the games, because nothing's decided on paper. That's why they play the games on the field. So those were my best games. Teams that impressed and disappointed, if I can get my voice back. Impressed, I did think the Washington Redskins impressed over the Oakland Raiders. As I said, the Raiders disappointed. The biggest upset, I thought was the Redskins over the Raiders, just because going into that game, I think everybody wanted Oakland to win or had Oakland winning. So Washington did impress me, though. Oakland just didn't play so hot. Another team that didn't play so hot, which would have been the Pittsburgh Steelers. And no, it's not because they didn't disappoint me because of the whole national anthem thing. They just didn't play well. Also, the Seahawks and Titans didn't go out on the field. If people are adding up the players and teams and whoever the hell doesn't stand for the national anthem and takes a knee. Hell, this thing's been going on since last August. I really don't understand why people were making a big deal about it again. I know Trump said something about it, but still, it is what it is. We can't do anything about it. All we can do is bullshit about it. So I'm going to leave it at that. So Washington impressed me. P. Ryan did go down late in the game for the Skins. He really hasn't done a whole lot this year, but he did get his first start due to an injury, and then he gets hurt. So we'll have to see how Washington's run game comes. As I said, they play Monday night now against the Chiefs on the road in Arrowhead, one of the toughest places to play in the NFL. Kirk Cousins looked good. Oakland just didn't play well, and as I said, Pittsburgh just didn't play well either, as they lost to the Bears 23-17 in overtime. Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen, basically the whole running game for the Chicago Bears, just ran all over that Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So with that, I'll just get into games this weekend then. The Bears play the Packers on Thursday night. I saw a stat earlier. These teams have played for however long. It's one of the best rivalries in football, if you ask me. Two teams from the NFC North. They played in Lambeau, I believe it was. It was either last year or the year before on Thursday night. I think it was last year. And Green Bay routed the Bears because Jay Cutler had one of his worst games of his career. But I'm not going to get into Jay Cutler. I mean, Jay Cutler and the Dolphins, they play the Saints over in London. There's another London game this weekend, so get up bright and early again for the second straight week if you want to watch some NFL football at 9:30 in the morning as the Saints play the Dolphins. I'll get into that game here after I get done talking about the Bears and Packers. But Bears and Packers, one of the best rivalries, as I said, in football. Teams, they played for how long? Their record is like 94-94, and the all-time record between the two teams is like 94-3 or something like that. And the Packers have scored like only like 4 more points total than the Bears in this rivalry. So we should have a good game on Thursday night between the Bears and Packers. Should be a real close game if you ask me. But I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers to defeat, the Chicago Bears, who actually just picked up their first win over Pittsburgh this past weekend. Saints and Dolphins, as I said, they go across the pond again for the second straight week. The NFL does. The game this past weekend between the Jaguars and Ravens ended up being a blowout. Jacksonville was up 37-0 at one point, ended up winning 44-7, and I did turn it on. It was on Yahoo, so I got it on the Yahoo app and watched it for a little bit. But then once things got out of hand, I turned it off. This game will be on Fox on Sunday at 9:30. As I said, if you want to watch it, you got to get up bright and early. I'll probably watch it just because it's on TV. And if it's still a blowout, I'll still have it on because there's probably not going to be anything else on Sunday morning unless I need to rewatch a game from college football from the day before, watch some classic content on the WWE Network or something like that. But the Saints, I'm going to take them over the Dolphins. They are still looking for their first win, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that, but I'm going to take the Saints over the Dolphins. Steelers then go to Baltimore to play the Ravens. I got to take Pittsburgh coming off a bad loss against Chicago. Both teams are coming off bad losses. Baltimore got crushed by Jacksonville of all teams. But I'm going to take Pittsburgh. Another great rivalry game in the NFL. Should be a real close one. These two teams split the series last year. Pittsburgh lost in Baltimore at the beginning of November, and then Pittsburgh defeated Baltimore on Christmas Day in Pittsburgh. Tennessee then goes to Houston. I got to take the Texans, coming off a close one against New England on the road, and Tennessee coming off a big win over Seattle at home. Something's got to give. I think Tennessee they'll play all right, but I think Houston playing at home, being 1-2, I think they'll pull out the win. Buffalo goes to Atlanta. I don't think the Bills have a chance. I'm going to take Atlanta. The Rams go to Dallas to play the Cowboys. I think this is going to be an upset. I'm going to take the Los Angeles Rams. Their offense so far this season has been spectacular. The Cowboys coming off a big win against Arizona on the road on Monday night. After coming off a loss, probably the worst loss in Dak and Ezekiel Elliott's young career against Denver the week before. They'll get things moving here in the right direction, here soon. But I think they'll stumble again on Sunday afternoon against the Rams. Lions then go to Minnesota to play the Vikings. I got to take Detroit. They're coming off a really bad loss. Well, I shouldn't say bad loss. They played the Falcons, one of the best teams in the NFL, but it was heartbreaking. They scored, and then it was a touchdown upon further review, got reversed, and game ended. So I got to take Detroit. Case Keenum will probably have another decent game. If he would have practiced the whole week as the starter before the Pittsburgh game, that game probably would have been a whole lot closer. But going into the game, he was still going to be the number 2 quarterback behind Bradford. Bradford is called out like a couple hours before that game starts. He doesn't have that much time to prepare. I think that's why Minnesota really, really lost to Pittsburgh, unless that game would have been a whole lot closer. Now, if Bradford would have played, that game would have been, Minnesota probably would have won, to be honest with you, because Pittsburgh looked like shit against Chicago. But then, Detroit, Matt Stafford, they'll be on a quest to pick up a win after coming off that heartbreaking loss against the Falcons, as I said. So I got to take Detroit. Carolina then goes to New England. I got to take the Patriots. The Panthers, they did have one good game. Forget who it was against. But that's basically it. Kelvin Benjamin went down this past week with a knee injury. Luckily, it's not another ACL, unless his career in Charlotte would probably be over. But I got to take New England. Tom Brady's been lighting up the NFL so far this year. I believe he has the most passing yards among any quarterback in the league so far, with over 1,000 yards passing through 3 games, which is just absolutely ridiculous. So I got to take the Patriots. They'll find a way to win. They're playing at home. This game a couple years ago was a Monday night matchup in Carolina, and Carolina won. I believe it was like on the last play of the game after a pass interference call on like Gronkowski or somebody, and then I believe the following week after that, I think that was the year. Was that the year? No, that was the year before they lost to Kansas City on the road on Monday night, and then they went on and won like 10 of their next 11 games and went on and beat Seattle in the Super Bowl. So that would have been the last time these two teams played. As I said, was on Monday night. I know it was on Monday night in Charlotte, and it would have been the season of Super Bowl 48, in which the Seahawks defeated the Broncos and Peyton Manning. As I said, I'm going to take the Patriots, though. Giants then go to Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers. Giants are 0-3. Ben McAdoo, I mean, is it too early to fire him? I don't know. If they lose this game, maybe. I got to take Tampa, though. This game, going into the season on paper, maybe might have been one of the best games of the season, but now with Tampa only playing 2 games, being 1-1, and the Giants being 0-3, it should be a close one, but we'll have to see. But I'm going to take Tampa. Oakland then goes to Denver on Sunday afternoon. CBS will be on the call with Jim Nantz and Tony Romo. Tony Romo 10 times better than Phil Simms. I got to take Oakland, bounce back week after losing to Washington. Both these teams actually lost last week. Denver lost to Buffalo on the road, so something's got to give in that one too, if you ask me. But I got to take Oakland. Colts then go to Seattle on Sunday night. Colts beat the Browns barely at home, 1-3. And then Seattle, they lost to Tennessee on the road. So Seattle's playing 2 AFC South teams 2 weeks in a row. You lose to probably, if not, other than Houston, if not the second best team in the division. And then you play the Colts. I got to take Seattle in a blowout. And then Washington goes to Kansas City, as I said, on Monday night. I got to take the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will get to 4-0, and I think the Falcons will also get to 4-0. And then come week 5, I don't know who these two teams play, but when we get there, I will preview those games and let you guys know who I'm going to pick in those games, obviously. So Yeah, I gotta take the Chiefs, the Seahawks, the Raiders, the Buccaneers, Patriots, Lions, Rams, Falcons, Texans, Steelers, Saints, and Packers for the games that I'm picking this week in the NFL. But as I said, those are the games I'm picking. Hopefully the quality and the audio of this video is 10 times better than what it has been the past month and a half as well. And then if you haven't already as well, go check out my Week 5 college football predictions. Give that video a thumbs up if you liked it. Give this video a thumbs up as well if you haven't done so already. You can follow Across the Goal Line on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's obviously how you're listening to this at the moment if you haven't done so already. And like I said, next week, I'll preview some more games as the Falcons and Chiefs are going for 4-0. We'll have to see if they get to there. If they do, I will talk about them next week. And then also next week, another preview for college football, NFL obviously. Baseball postseason, 2017 MLB postseason will be starting next Tuesday, October the 3rd, with a wild card matchup, and then the 4th will also have another wild card matchup, and then I believe it's next Friday. That's when the divisional series starts. And then WWE Hell in a Cell is also coming up on October 8th, so I'll preview that as well. So with that, this is Luke Godissart for Across the Goal Line. I will see everybody later.